Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review, which is actually the second time I filmed this video. The first time I filmed it, I didn't turn the mic on and you couldn't hear me the whole time. So hopefully the second time will be the charm and this will be a better video than the previous one I did actually a couple of days ago, but never mind. Now on to the club, and it is this. It is the Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic from 2017, the standard model. Now I've actually reviewed the Sub-Zero model. I did that last year, so do check out the channel for that if you want the low spin beast. But the reason I picked this up today is number one, the Callaway Elite has come out recently. I know all the pre-orders, well, basically you can pre-order it now. At the time I'm filming this video, you can't actually go and pick one up, but you can pre-order it. And a lot of people are saying it reminds them of the Epic Flash with that colour because the green, well, the green is back. For me, it reminds me of the Great Big Bertha Epic. It looks very similar with that green colour. Don't get me wrong, the general looks itself has moved on, but it just screams classic Great Big Bertha Epic for me. And this club, let's be honest, is a goat. This really was a major change for Callaway. It was really popular. It was long. It was forgiving. It was just a great, great driver. So I picked it up because of that reason. Because number one, the new Elite reminds me of this. So I thought I had to give this a go. Because I've never tried the standard model. I had the Sub-Zero back in the bag years and years ago, and I shouldn't have done. And I should have probably had this model, but never mind. So I wanted to pick it up, try for the channel. Also, I wanted to see if this club could bring back the love of Callaway drivers for me. Over the years, I've tested quite a few Callaway drivers for this channel, and I think they've been really good, like the Rogue ST, AI Smoke, like lovely, lovely drivers. But I think I'm a little bit scarred from playing the Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic, Sub-Zero, when I was basically just starting up golf, giving up rugby, and then put that in my hands, and it just went all horribly, horribly wrong. So ever since then, I've never been in love with Callaway. Not like I'm in love with sort of Cobra drivers, tailor-made drivers, Mizuno irons, for example. So I'm hoping this driver is going to bring back that love. So next time when I review another Callaway driver, I'm going to go, ooh, that's a good driver, and it's going to bring back memories of this and be like, oh, that's reminds me of the awesome Great Big Bertha Epic. So let's see if it brings back my love for Callaway, and we'll discuss that at the end of this video. So as always, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look at this club. We're going to come back in here, go for all the technology that's in it. Going to get down to the range, going to throw some figures at you, and we're going to come back here for the ACS Golf Scale and my overall thoughts about this. Little spoiler alert for you. Until my new driver turns up, yes, I have ordered a new driver, one of the brand new models. Yes, I know it's not going to improve my game because technology really hasn't gone anywhere, and therefore it probably won't, be exactly the same as the previous model I used to use. But until that new shiny driver comes up, just because I like nice shiny things in my bag, and also, it gives me a chance to review some new stuff for you guys. This has actually been in my bag. I've taken it out on the golf course quite a few times, and spoiler alert, it's performed very well. All right, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go, and it's a good looking thing, to be fair. I mean, these haven't aged well. I can't really see it. Unfortunately, I did film this in daylight, and now I'm filming in the darkness of night to make sure this video actually gets out this week. But yeah, the chevrons, as you saw, like a closer look in there, they've gone, but the rest of it still looks relatively modern on the bottom in the color scheme, especially the fact the Elite color schemes come out, and the head shape. I love this head shape. Why? Because it's not like a lot of the modern drivers which go 10k max, max forgiveness. And they're becoming quite elongated at the back. This is definitely a little bit more squatter. The facing's a little bit bigger. It's more player-like, I'd say, more like a low spin model, even though this isn't a low spin model. And I really, really like that. So really good looks there. And the head cover, classic head cover. Look at that. Not the nicest quality head cover, I'm not going to lie, but classic anyway. So yeah, great head cover game. Now let's get into technology that is in this bad boy. So, increased distance from gel brake technology. Breakthrough innovation which dramatically increases distance by stiffening the body to transfer more energy to the ball. So, gel brake technology was the first time they ever used it, and they used it all the way from 2017 all the way to the Callaway Rogue ST, which was 2022. Then in 2023, 2024, with the paradigm and air smoke, they removed it because they basically just put a shell on it and they said we don't need it anymore. Um, I think jailbreak technology is great. I know a lot of you guys watching this are sort of, is it really a huge difference? Let's be honest, over the past couple of years, nothing's really changed because of the face thickness, etc. So maybe not, but at the time, a lot of people said it really did work, and I definitely think it does work. 100%, having those two bars across there. So I'm personally a fan of it, even though I know a lot of people don't necessarily believe it. Really, didn't reinvent the wheel sort of thing. Um, Moving on to maximum forgiveness from exo cage construction. So that is the exo cage there. Innovative head construction that unites our aerospace grade titanium exo cage outfitted with an ultra light tri-axial carbon crown, so carbon crown, 9.7 grams, which is the lightest ever in the Callaway driver, and sole, which is 5.8 grams. So you have carbon on the sole there. You can see the carbon weave there. Allows us to distribute more weight in the perimeter for higher MOI and more forgiveness in a high launch, low spin design. So already, they're talking about high launch, low spin. And that's a huge thing about modern day drivers. Well, this is a modern day driver, but I mean, drivers that have come out right now, they're going maximum forgiveness, but low spin, high bombers, because let's be honest, majority of the time, spin is an enemy for anyone who's got sort of a relatively average swing speed and upwards, because it just means a ball balloon. So what the majority of clubs are trying to do is increase the distance by lowering the spin. But to do that, they need to get the launch right. There's no point in lowering the spin if it's just going to come out like that. If they can help get that ball in the air by creating better launch and therefore still having low spin, you're going to get longer numbers. Unless it's completely low spin and it just all drops out of the sky. But it's very much a modern look in a driver that, to be fair, that was 2017, which is still a modern driver. I still need to say to myself, that is a modern driver. But anyway, so yeah, really good. One thing I will add, now this is in really good condition apart from one sky mark on near the the heel there, sorry. I would just like to confirm that was not me. If I ever leave a sky mark on a club, which I don't really do nowadays, but it's normally there. That's my bad miss there, not there. Um, touch wood, I don't do a sky mark anytime soon, because I haven't done one for years, ever since I got into single figures handicap. Anyway, moving on. So, oh yeah, so this carbon fibre, which I was going for, like I said, this is a really good one, really good condition, but be aware, I have seen these panels quite easily because they're older clubs, breaking, because it is carbon fibre at the bottom there. So be aware, because that is going to affect how the driver performs, regardless of people saying, oh, there's a hole in it, it performs exactly the same. It does affect the integrity of a driver. So yeah, just be aware of that. Moving on, precision shot shape control from adjustable perimeter weighting. So we have it here, and I'll discuss this weighting in a second when we go for the ACS Golf Scale. At the moment, I have it right in that fade setting. For when I did the numbers, I didn't have it there. I had it sort of in neutral, and then I moved it closer to that fade, not all the way back here, to get some better results, which I'll discuss. But when I'm having the golf course at the moment, I've got really right up there to stop anything pushing left, because I do loft this up to 11 degrees because it's a 9-degree head. So yeah, the perimeter weighting, change the position of the 17-gram weight on the precision engineered track allows you to easily fit your club to your swing, providing 21 yards of shot shaping control to promote straighter and longer tee shots. Is it really 21 yards? I'm not going to be able to tell you. Maybe a robot can, and a lot of testing back in the day said exactly the same thing. Is it? It definitely affects it, and I think it affects it, and I'll discuss that later when going through the results. But 21 yards, that's quite an outlandish claim there. Moving on, you've got faster head speed from industry leading aerodynamics. A streamlined head incorporates our priority speed step. We'll which I believe is that, created with direct input from aerodynamics experts at Boeing to improve airflow and encourage more swing speed and distance without extra effort. And you can see that it is very much an aerodynamic club. You know, it is that sort of LS sort of shape, you know, which sort of everything comes together there. When now sort of your more forgiving drivers, you know, sort of goes down like that, but that sort of stays relatively flat. You know, this is definitely geared up for, you know, geared up for that sort of aerodynamics. I mean, for example, if we're going, if I just grab a driver, there we go, just one behind me. You know, that is a Cobra LTDX, yeah, LTDX LS. You know, they always talk about aerodynamics, and a very similar shape there. Very similar shape. You know, and that's the thing about Cobra. It's all about their aerodynamics, and the Dark Speed LS, which I have as well, which I will do a review shortly for the channel. Exactly the same sort of shape. So definitely got that aerodynamic shape there, which I really, really like. Doesn't make you swing any faster. Swing number's pretty good this time of year when we get into it, to be fair. And then finally, we got the OptiFit adjustability. So an OptiFit hosel allows for further fine-tuning in the fitting process to aid precision shot shaping and adjustments of lofts up and down if required. Same thing, been around for years. Got it here. You know, you can go up by 2 degrees, go down by 1 degree. You can just change it to a draw setting. You know, just all keep it standard. It's a good fitting system. You know, tailor-made, for example, you can't loft up without changing the lie angle. So you loft it up by 2 degrees and actually close to the face. You know, this one you can keep it in that neutral setting and loft it up, which is quite good. I like that. Same with Titleist. Same with the new Cobra, you know, DS Adapt system. So yeah, nice. All right, guys, so there is all the technology that is in this little beauty. Now let's get down to range, throw some figures you, and then come back here for the ACS Golf Scale. All right, see you in a bit.
I'm down at the range on a cold, wet winter's day. Now let's jump straight into those figures. So on average, I had a carry of 229 yards, total distance of 248 yards, ball speed 152 miles per hour. I do mention later on in the video it's 155. That was wrong. It is 152. Launch angle 13 degrees, height 76 feet, and a club head speed of 100.5 miles per hour. So, you know, really happy with that. Overall, loved hitting this club. It was good fun. It really did get the ball up in the air. You can find out, you know, that 13 degrees launch angle. Lovely draws as well. With the weight setting and draw sort of setting, it definitely pushed it a little bit too far left, which you can see in one of these shots actually. But when I moved it into more of a fade setting, then it actually straightened up quite nicely. Still a draw, but definitely not sort of getting it on the middle of the fairway rather than actually pushing it left and, you know, off the fairway would be the case with those type of shots. But overall, you know, really good performance, really solid numbers as well. You know, longest were around that 250 mark, which is exactly spot on for my driver, which I'd want. So it really did perform, and I think on another day it would have gone even further. Those figures in a table for you. You know, I had this club set at 11 degrees, so pretty much standard for me. You know, normally it's 12 degrees, but overall, you know, very happy with it. That average is just below what I'd normally expect, to be honest, in summer. So in winter to be getting those numbers, really happy. Club head speed as well was really good. You know, I'm getting a little bit quicker to get it up to that 100, you know, well over the 100 mark on average. Really happy. Shortest, not the end of the world, but it wasn't a great hit. It was really off the toe of the club, where you could sort of see forgiveness isn't quite there compared to maybe your modern day drivers, but overall, really, really solid numbers. And I definitely think, you know, on another day, especially in summer, I don't think the ball speed would change, but I definitely think I'd be getting a little bit more distance because the ball will be travelling further. So really solid performance.
So there you go. Not bad figures at all, especially the fact this on a winter's day. It was wet and horrible and damp. And yeah, the ball definitely not going to go as far as it normally would do. So to get, you know, just under 250 mark and total distance, that carry above the 225 mark, which I sort of look for on average, you know, really happy. Ball speed on average 155 miles per hour. Love that. It was great. Swing speed was about 100.5 on average. Really happy with that, given the weather. I did have some that were quite a lot faster. And then did have some, well, the slowest actually was only 98.5. So, you know, really, really not that bad. Well, really good for me. I mean, that slowest is more than my average normally. So, getting that swing speed up, that's what I want. Maximise distance in the summer and carry in the winter, to be honest. But yes, so really good figures there. You know, as mentioned, Longest on the day was only 252 with a carry of 234, but that was still solid, still happy with that. And definitely if I was doing that in summer, that would be a lot further. I think that 252 would probably be around 260. I think maybe 265. Personally, especially with the launch angle of 14 and height 78. Really, really good performance. Really happy with it. So going into the ACS Golf scale, then we've got distance, looks, feel, price, and forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. For me, distance-wise, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. It isn't a low spin bomber. I'm not saying this club's going to be the longest I've ever hit. It's not. But for the standard model, it is great. It's 4 out of 5. I definitely think this still keeps up with those sort of standard models. The ones that sort of in the middle. So your Callaway Elite, for example, your Callaway Rogue ST Max. Those sort of standard models. I don't think this is far behind it. Maybe 1 or 2 yards, but I really don't think it is. I really think if you get this in the right settings, this thing's an absolute bomber. So really happy with that. 4 out of 5. Like I said, to get those numbers in winter. And it was the thing, the range, I felt there was a little bit of a wind in the face as well, and the rain was coming down, so it definitely affected that total distance numbers. So, yeah, and I've taken on a golf course. This is, like I mentioned before, it's been in the bag, I've taken on a golf course, and the ball's exactly where I'd expect it to be. Exactly where all my Cobra Dark Speed X, drivers from last year, all around in the same figure, to be fair. So it's not like this was any, I wouldn't say it was any longer than my Cobra Dark Speed, but it wasn't any shorter. It was all exactly, this is exactly the same place I would hit it, you know, if I was with my other driver that I used all last year, my modern Cobra, exactly the same places. So really, really happy with those numbers. It's still got a lot of distance in it. Really pleased with it. Feel wise, 4 out of 5. I like the feel of it. It feels great. Feels powerful, springing off the face, that gel brake. Relatively know where my misses are. Also know because the MLI there. But yeah, it's a nice feeling club. Definitely feels better than I would say the Callaway Epic Sub-Zero because you don't have all that weight at the front. You have the weight at the front of any club. It makes it feel a lot harder. Weight at the back, I definitely think it improves the feel a little bit personally for me anyway. So yeah, 4 out of 5, cannot complain with it. Just as I was mentioning about distance, by the way, so because I know we have moved on that, but just quickly go back. So I want to quickly talk about that track. Massively helps in my mind. When I first was trying this driver, I had it probably even below the sort of neutral setting there. For me, with my close stance, I think I do tend to draw the ball quite a bit. With this, it just came a little bit too far left. Came up nicely. Launch with this is great. Average of 13 degrees. Really, really happy with that launch on this. Really to get it up in the air. I did sell up to 11 degrees. Don't get me wrong, but still, I tested drivers at 12 degrees. And they haven't launched a ball as well as this. So really happy with that. And I was just overdrawing it. So then I put it into that sort of fade setting. I was still getting the high bombs, high draw bombs, but they just weren't drawing as much. So rather than being sort of not necessarily miss the fairway, but being on the left side of the fairway. Suddenly I was in the middle of the fairway. It's coming out and then going back in again. So it does make a difference. I was really impressed by this sort of technology at the back there. And I've actually pushed it even further in now for the golf course. Did try it at the range the other day, and it worked lovely. But for the golf course, because when I did take it to the golf course and it was cold, I did tend to hook it a little bit left. So I'm hoping having all that weight there, it'll just keep it straighter from my really bad shot. So yeah, it works. There you go. Moving on to looks, sort of went down the side alley there. Looks wise, great looking club. 4.5 out of 5. Really do like the look of it. Not too sure about them on the top. And that's the only reason why, really. I think if they weren't there, I think maybe 5 out of 5, to be honest. And also, I'm never a massive fan of seeing a rack at the back of a driver, to be honest. I just never think it's that aerodynamic, but it is a really nice looking club. So 4.5 out of 5. Have this in your bag. It turns heads. I really do think it does. Moving on to forgiveness, this is the standard model. I don't think they brought a more forgiving model out, but this isn't a 10k max MOI driver, not at all. I mean, hitting this in the high heel, well, high toe, which I do, that's my miss. you know, hitting that in the Cobra Dark Speed, which again isn't, you know, it's a forgiving driver, but it's not the most forgiving driver. That I felt it, but it definitely felt like staying on course. And I didn't lose really any distance. This, when I do those hits, you know, still stays on course, but I can feel the head turning, and I definitely lose a little bit of distance. So forgiveness is relatively good. You know, if you hit it anywhere around the face, you're not going to be losing anything really bad, and then you might start seeing some drop off. But still solid, so 3.5 out of 5, to be honest. I still think the forgiveness is, well, as you'd expect from Monday driver, is still really good. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5, but it's not a 10k driver. It's not, if you're needing ultimate forgiveness, and you want to save yourself a little bit of money, I'd go for an old ping, to be honest. Go for the G400. Yeah, G400 Max. Boom. There you go. But G400 Max is a little bit more than this, to be fair, but maybe G410 or something like that. But for me, you know, it's plenty enough forgiveness for anyone, especially your average golfer. You know, your average golfer can definitely use this. You know, 3.5 out of 5 is not bad at all. And let's be honest, we all are trying to hit the middle of the face. So anything around the middle, like I said, isn't that bad, but it does just twist a little bit. Might be your weight setting, to be fair, because it's in the fade. Maybe if you move it around, it might actually help increase that forgiveness. Definitely something to potentially look into if you're going to buy this club. But for me, definitely keeping it in that fade setting. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5, really not that bad at all. Quite, well, good. It's good. Make it sound like it's awful, but 3.5 is a very, very solid forgiveness score. It really is. It is a forgiving driver. It's just not, I would say, it's forgiving as your sort of brand new ones, which is all maximised forgiveness. But then, you know, if you're trying to hit the middle of the face, that's fine. I'm talking about massive miss hits here, really. So now looking on to price, and I've given this a 4 out of 5 because if you're looking in like your sort of second-hand stores over here in the UK, for example, golf clubs for cash, you're looking at sort of starting around £128, which is around $160, which isn't great, isn't the cheapest, but isn't that bad. And generally, you know, you'll know that there's no holes in it, and it's in good condition. Worn, but in good condition. While on eBay, you know, ranges, I've seen them go for £83 all the way up to £110. So you're talking about $100 all the way up to say $140, which I really don't think that's bad. I think it's actually for a driver that's performance is really, really good, and it's still one of the best out there. Yeah, you know, I'm about to take that comment back and say, you know, maybe not the best out there, but you know, it's still up there with an elite performing driver, 100%. You know, I don't think it's the best out there anymore. Don't get me wrong, I really don't, but it is still a very, very, very good driver. So, you know, to be able to get it for under £100 on average, definitely worth a go. You know, if you're looking, you know, if your driver's, I don't know, you know, post, you know, pre 2015 sort of thing, and you want to change it, or you just fancy something changed and you don't want to put a brand new one in it, it's definitely worth having a look at the Great Big Bertha Epic. You know, it is an absolute classic driver. You know, performs really, really well. A lot of people still love this thing. So yeah, so price 4 out of 5. Now, my overall thoughts about this club. Has it made me fall back in love with Callaway drivers? Yes, it has. I've enjoyed hitting this so much. I've enjoyed the adjustability. I've enjoyed the ball flight. I've enjoyed the distance. I've enjoyed the ball speed. You know, I've enjoyed hitting fairways again. You know, at the moment with this in a bag, I did put the Dark Speed LS in the bag for a while because I was getting that swing speed up. That was a horrendous choice, even though it's a great, great, great driver. You know, so it's just nice to be consistent with something. It is a great driver. It's consistent. It feels good. It looks good. It goes good distance. You can get some decent swing speed with it, and it's a decent price. It's a win for me, and I definitely, definitely love it. And I will enjoy it being in the bag for the next couple of weekends until the new monster, well, hopefully monster, turns up. I'll enjoy hitting it, and who knows? Maybe compared to the new one, it might stay in the bag. You never know. We'll have to wait and see for the next what's in my bag just before the beginning of the proper season over here in the UK. But yeah, overall thoughts, fantastic club. Definitely, definitely makes me fall in love with Callaway drivers again. My favourite. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, do give this video a like and remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you do not miss out on weekly ACS golf reviews like this and much more. And comment down below, have you ever played a Great Big Bertha Epic? If you have, what are your thoughts? Why did you take it out of the bag? Would you ever put it back in the bag? I'd really like to know your thoughts on this one. Alright guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS golf review. See you then.